Hey, welcome. Ever stop and think about why we make the choices we do every single day? Turns out there are these hidden forces all around us, constantly shaping our decisions. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on those forces. And even better, you'll learn how you can become an architect of motivation yourself, how to shape behavior for the better. All right, let's get right to it. If you've ever been in a position where you need to get people motivated, maybe you're a manager, a team lead, heck, even a parent, you for sure hit this wall. You want everyone to step up, but you can't just throw money at the problem. And let's be honest, nobody likes being told what to do. So what else is there? What's the trick? Well, the answer is actually in a totally different way of thinking. It's about shifting from that old school top-down, do this because I said so approach, to something way more subtle and way more effective. It's about guiding people. Which brings us right into our first big idea, the architecture of choice. And here's the cool part. We're not talking about some massive, complicated overhaul. You don't need to rewrite the rulebook. The real magic, the secret sauce, if you will, is in the small stuff. I mean, tiny, almost invisible tweaks, but they're super strategic. It's all about changing the environment where people make their choices. And that leads us straight to the big idea behind all of this, nudge theory. You might have heard of it. It's this concept from behavioral economics that basically says, hey, we can gently, nudge people towards better decisions. And this is key. It's not about forcing anyone's hand or taking away their freedom to choose, not at all. It's just about making the good choice the easy choice, the most appealing one. I love this quote because it just perfectly frames this new way of thinking about leadership. You get to become a choice architect. How cool is that? Your job isn't to be the boss who dictates everything. Instead, you're the designer. You thoughtfully craft the environment, the whole context, so that the best path forward just feels like the natural one to take. Okay, so we get the what and the why, but I know what you're thinking. How do I actually do this, right? So let's get practical. Let's move on and look at the actual tools for nudging. We're going to break down 3 techniques you can literally start using today. And you know what? It's not complicated. The whole toolkit really just boils down to 3 main things. 3 core techniques. We're going to look at framing choices, adjusting feedback, and simplifying processes. That's it. Let's dive into each one. First up, framing. Just look at this example. On one side, you lose 10% of your bonus. Oof. On the other, you gain a 10% bonus. The money is exactly the same, right? But psychologically, it's a whole different world. The first one triggers something called loss aversion. We are hardwired to hate losing stuff, so it feels like a punishment. But the second one, it's an opportunity, it's a gain, and that is so much more motivating. Okay, technique number 2, adjusting feedback. Think about the classic annual performance review. It's like getting a grade for a class a year after you took it. It's just too little, too late. But the nudge approach, it's totally different. It creates this constant feedback loop. You get real-time updates, little alerts for hitting milestones. It's a steady stream of positive reinforcement that actually keeps people engaged and moving in the right direction. And number 3, simplifying processes. Oh man, we've all been there, right? You see this huge, complicated form and you just think, nope, not today. That friction is a massive barrier. So the nudge is to make the good choice the default choice. Instead of a complex sign-up form, you just auto-enroll people, but give them an easy way to opt out if they want. You remove all that friction and suddenly everyone's on board because it was the easiest thing to do. All right, so this all sounds good on paper, right? But does it actually work in the real world with all its messiness? You bet it does. Let's take a look at some examples of nudging in the wild and see the actual results companies are getting. So check this out. It lays it out so clearly. You've got a common problem like low employee engagement. Instead of some massive, expensive program, the nudge is just simplify access to things and create those positive feedback loops. And what happens? Engagement gets a real boost. And you see the same pattern for inconsistent decisions or getting people to adopt a new program. It's always a simple nudge leading to a way better outcome. Small changes, big results. And that's really the beauty of it. This isn't some crazy, complicated system you have to memorize. It all comes down to just 3 things. That's it, 3. Think of it like this. Frame, adjust feedback, and simplify. That's it. That's your whole toolkit for becoming a choice architect. Okay, so we've covered the theory, we've seen it in action, but now comes the most important part, where this stops being just an idea and becomes something you can do. It's your turn to nudge. This is all about you taking these ideas and becoming that choice architect in your own world. So, let's do a quick recap of the big takeaways. First and foremost, you don't need to force people to get things done. Second, never underestimate the power of a small change. It can cause huge ripples. Third, work with human nature, not against it. And finally, don't forget your 3 tools: frame, give feedback, and simplify. That's the core of it. So I want to leave you with a question, just one question to think about. Look around your world, at work, at home, even with your own personal habits. What is one small, tiny choice that you could re-architect today? Because the power to nudge, to really shift motivation, well, it's in your hands now.